Hey guys, this is YGO Silence coming at you with my Phantasm Igknight deck profile. Very excited to give you this video because this is a new idea I came up with. The reason I made this deck is because I sought to fix two major issues that I found when playing the Phantasm Spiral deck. And that is not seeing the field spell and not seeing a monster to trigger the field spell with. I fixed this by adding normal pendulum monsters in the Igknights and then being able to piggyback off the pendulum mechanic when I don't see the field spell. Now, this deck actually ended up being a lot more budget friendly because it doesn't run as much of an extra deck and it doesn't rely on it as much. So no Logia, no Dolka, and no Totally Awesome, which does cut down on the cost a lot. This deck is very fun to play and I have enjoyed the playing I have done with it. I think it can be very competitive, and I actually plan on running some form of Phantasm Spiral deck at my regionals coming up, so I do think it can compete with the best of them. Now, I want to do a quick warning and state that I have not extensively play-tested this variant very much. I have done testing online, and I have done testing with a small group of friends, but I have not taken it to a tournament yet. So, a week from today, I will be posting another video with a much more refined version of this deck. Anyway, let's get right into the video. Starting off, you want to run 2 Phantasm Spiral Dragon. Phantasm Spiral Dragon is your boss monster, he's your big beater, and he's the guy that does a lot of work and allows you to break through your opponent's defenses with extreme ease. You're capable of swarming 2 of these on the field pretty easily, and just it provides a ton of field pressure that your opponent must have a ton of trouble with. Next, you run 3 Igknight Paladin. Paladin is a low scale, he's an Igknight name, and all of the Igknights I have put in here are level 5 or lower, which allows you to normal summon them and trigger the field spell. So 3 Paladin. Now, you do run 3 Crusader. I am very sorry, but I was unable to find any Crusaders. I went all over town, I went to 4 different shops, I was unable to find any Crusader. Crusader is a low scale, he has more attack than Paladin, and he's just a good card to have. Next is the worst card in the deck, Igknight Squire. Squire is good in that he is an Igknight name, and, you could pop him and search other Igknights, which, it's nice, it helps. But he has no attack at all, and so you're not going to be using him offensively. It's only on that utility role. Next, you run 3 Templar. Templar is probably the best Igknight in the deck, in that he has high attack, he's a high scale, and he's just, I really do like the art, and that's probably one of my biases with him, because I do very much enjoy this card. Next, for the spicy tech, you're going to run 3 Dragoons of Draconia and 3 Sea Dragoons of Draconia. Now, I very much like these cards in this deck, because these are pendulum monsters that work with normal monsters. Once per turn, if a normal monster you control destroys an opponent's monster by battle, after damage calculation, you could add 1 level 4 or higher normal monster from your deck to your hand. And then this one's effect is, when a monster is destroyed by battle, you could special summon 1 normal monster from your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. So what that means is, you could destroy monsters, which you do a lot of in this deck. It happens in a lot of decks, but this is very easy to trigger. And then you could search any level 4 or higher normal monster. So that means a lot of the Igknights that you want to go into, and most importantly, Phantasm Spiral Dragon, because it triggers with this. Because it works during both turns, you can special summon 1 normal monster anytime you want, which, by the way, triggers Pacifist, and it allows you to summon the big beater Phantasm Spiral Dragon very easily. So it's just another way to get him out. That's all we have for the monsters. You'll notice we have a much heavier monster lineup. There was 20 in there, and so it really does help with a lot of the deck. Next, you want to run 3 Pacifist and 3 Terraforming. You want to see Pacifist as quickly as possible. I do think it is one of the best field spells in the game. In this deck, it allows you to do so much, and it really does bring this deck up to tier 1 status, I think. And it allows you to do just so much. This is the era where field spells are really strong. You see this in Dragonic Diagram and Union Hanger and other field spells, in that they're just very strong. So you must run this, and you must watch out for heavy counters. Next, you run 3 Heatwave. Heatwave is very, very good, in that It doesn't affect you at all, but it just guts your opponent's deck and makes it so they can't do anything but set and pass. I said that as much as my last video, and I mean, this card is still fantastic. Next, you run 2 Wave, 2 Grip, and 1 Crash. These are the equip spells you could search off of the field spell, and they're all just very good to use with your normal monsters. For a while, I was messing with 3 Spiral Grip and 1 Wave, but I found that having 2 of them allows you to crash into monsters and just get Phantasm Spiral Dragon out. And then the discard at the end of that is really nice. Alright, that is what we have for the spells. So now we go into traps. Now, you run 2 Spiral Battle and 2 Spiral Power. This is a good amount. Don't run any more or any less than this. I just think this is the best you could do with these cards, and they're very, very good to have. Next, one of the best cards in the deck, Tyrant's Throes. Now, in the other deck, I would say this card was mediocre, and I actually ended up taking it out for 2 more normal monsters because you just didn't see enough monsters, and you don't go into Tyrant's Throes that much. But in this deck, I would almost say bump this up to 3. Now, this is a 41 card deck, and I am hesitant to run anything more than 40 cards, but I couldn't find anything to cut. But if I were to add anything else, it would be 1 more Tyrant's Throes, because this card is broken in this deck. Because you're pendulum summoning so much, and how the pendulum mechanic works, in that when you tribute, it just goes back to your deck, or the extra deck, then you can use Tyrant's Throes you could use it the once, and then immediately get your monsters back with a pendulum summon. This is absurd in that if you get this out, unless your opponent MSTs or Twin Twisters, they lose. It's very difficult to counter this card. And then 1 Skill Drain. Skill Drain, OP, very good, especially in this deck. Alright, finally, we're going into the extra deck. The extra deck is preference heavy. I would say just run the cards you like. I would say, if I were to give, any pure recommendations, the Utopia engine is necessary. Lightning is very strong. It allows you to get over problematic monsters. Castell allows you to spin stuff to the deck, and then Abyss Dweller to deal with graveyards. Those are the big ones you really do need in the deck. But other than that, I really do think it's up to you. Also, put in some rank 3s, just wherever you want. All right, now for the side deck. Side deck is also up to personal preference, but I like to run all 3 board wipes, 3 systems down because I hate machine decks, 3 Ghost Ogre because it is the best hand trap, and then 3 Kaiju. Go into Gameciel. I like Godarla because it's cheap, but Gameciel is better. Alright guys, that is my deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.